Are we live? And, well, hopefully we are. Because if not, I'm going to be really big sad. How's everyone going today? Gonna get a bit of music on in the background. Just some chill. Chill music. I'm not going with the webcam today. A little bit out of it, personally. So, stick that on. I'm gonna actually check on my phone how this sounds, because overall, to me, sounds like absolutely nothing. But, hey. Should be live, should be chilling. Hopefully everyone here is having a decent time. Today, we've got Vitality and BDS in the best of 3, which is pretty cool. For once, I'm not having to realistically care about a matchup too much because I feel like crap. Also, I just realised it's a community hour. Starting early for once. It's not something I'm used to be honest. So, I'm actually gonna drop the music real quick. A little bit lower. That's about right. Anyway, let's get going. BDS Vitality game number 1 of the best of 3. Into it we go. So, Vitality are on red. BDS on blue. They had side select coming into this one. So bands already coming thick and fast into this one as Brand, Callista, Varus, Oriana. By Vitality. And I'm expecting maybe Nazir band to come out here from Vitality. Cut Nuke's big power play pool down quite heavily. There is other options in terms of the LeBlanc that has risen in priority as well as a good old pick for teams. What else is there? There's the Darius. Of course, you're playing against BDS. Remove one of Adam's big power picks as well. That kind of leads you to believe that the first pick, Zach, something that came in over this weekend, could come through for Vitality. Instead, they're going Karma than Zhao, and that is kind of a surprising first lock-in in Rotation 1. Reason is, Karma realistically only has one lane of play, and that's top lane. The rest of the lock-ins from BDS, though, to match up is the Aphelios and Blitzcrank. They're going aggressive, and Ice is on that signature Aphelios. I think something we've seen a lot of this split is ADCs tending towards Aphelios. Even when there's other strong options like Caitlyn, who's really not hit the meta hard, where people thought she would. It's a surprise to see the comfort of Aphelios coming through, alongside some of these more aggressive support picks, like the Blitzcrank. Blitz, risen in priority, with Callista obviously coming back into the meta as well. Obviously, that champ's on the ban bench, but Nautilus still up and available for Vitality if it doesn't get removed away here by BDS, as well as, oh my mouse, as well as the fact that there is a pretty hefty amount of other good supports for Nada. The reason I'm writing off Karma support is because it's not that good into a Blitzcrank Aphelios. You can poke and harass, But realistically speaking, you need something aggressive alongside it, like a Varus or an Ashe, to realistically get the full benefits of that pick. And Hylissang, he's been playing the Ashe himself in that bot lane. Kazi kind of has left that one up to him. So maybe we see a pivot over to Ashe for Kazi, but who knows, as a lot of ADCs have been removed. The Ezreal, Desire also gone. What good options is there for an ADC? If you want mobility, I guess you would go for... I don't know. I mean, technically there isn't many good mobility safe ADCs left up and available. So the fact that a Nautilus is coming through for Hylissang here leads me to believe that Vitality are gonna go aggressive. So Jinx looking like a tasty option here. I would also say maybe even an Ashe. Go double stun, lock up, firing in the rapid volleys, the threaded volleys to say the least. I think as a whole, this bot lane option for Vitality is quite big. And with the Nautilus obviously locked in, that does lock in Karma into the top lane. And, you know, tank Karma top into a Cassante. You've revealed your hand here, essentially, if you're Vitality. I genuinely think you should have locked in there in your 4th slot, your ADC, instead of the Nautilus, and then got full counter pick. Because you could have left the Karma as a bit more of a mix-up as to where it was going. I'm not a big fan of how Vitality have drafted this phase at all. It's kind of left them susceptible to being punished. Now, the Nets lock-in probably going to be quite huge. In fact, there's the Jinx to round it out. Azir going into Nuke's hands. We talked about it earlier. Nuke has these power picks. His Orianna is one of them. His Azir is the other one, this split. He also has a good Akali. But this matchup, Akali into Azir, is very even in terms of late game. It's whether or not the Akali can get onto the Azir, past the Emperor's Divide, the Shuffle, and you name it. You have to play very, very aggressive to kill the Azir. However, early game, Azir's going to have the tried and true Sand Soldier poke and harassment onto the Akali that will make it hard to farm. And personally, BDS probably will snowball early if nothing happens in that mid lane. And the reason I say that is because, typically speaking, that mid lane matchup shouldn't have too much action. It should be just a poke lane, a push lane as some may call it. And the rest of the map, you should probably tend to see a lot of bot lane impact and fighting, because both teams drafting aggressive supports and are honestly wanting to get the early aggression. Now, we haven't really touched on the junglers just yet, as Maokai versus Xin Zhao. I don't know if we've touched Xin Zhao at all during our breakdowns, but essentially this pick is very, very potent. It has a lot of high amount of damage, with Titanic Hydra being its biggest buff. Obviously with the active now on that. As already level 1, we're seeing some aggressive plays out from Vitality. They spot the ward out. They don't have a sweeper, so they're not gonna get anyone an early level 2 this game. As for BDS, they're getting some good vision down themselves. Obviously, no vision wards were dropped on the top half of the map. And so Labrov sweeping away absolutely nothing. Not going to be rewarded for that sweeper usage. And I think Vitality kind of happy with how that one has turned out for themselves. So, as we pan to the bot lane, gonna take stock of items, runes, you name it. Anything out the ordinary. Nothing unusual, I would say. We can talk about the Karma in the top lane. Karma is an interesting champion because you have obviously high amount of AP damage with the Metric Hue, even when you build tank. And obviously that was with Mythics. You had extra damage. Now with the mass amount of item changes, Karma top does actually a lot of work as a good hook out from Labrov. Puts Hilly just to above half his HP bar. Not going to pop a pot just yet. And so, the interesting thing to note is Karma top into Cassante should have push early. And it's probably going to come down to whether or not Shao can free Adam. As if you know Adam, his playstyle is to make early roams down to mid to then unlock Nuke and or help Shao get the crabs and objectives. Now, on Cassante into Karma, it's the infamous melee into ranged matchup. Cassante, though, quite bulky, even on these early levels, especially with that Relic shield, Doran shield. So, as a whole, that top lane matchup, well, it will always be a pushing favour for the Karma. Adam still will be able to have an impact if Shao can unlock him. And that's something I'm kind of hoping for in this early game. As right now, junglers both on the bottom side of the map. Crabs are spawning. First crab going to be picked up by Douglas's mid lane. Heavy trading. Vito getting quite low, but it's kind of a bait as Nuke stepping forward. Possibly forced to glide away. Not going to burn his flash. It's just going to be a quick reset out of the BDS mid laner gained by Vitality. But obviously, Nuke has got TP. The wave is going to be frozen slightly outside of Vito's tower, so he's going to deny quite a bit of CS here. It's quite a decent maneuver from the Vitality mid. Obviously, Nuke TP's back in response with a recurve though. So, the extra poke speed always going to be great as Labrov clearing out this ward. Will mean Shao gets to advance up into the river undetected, though Vitality should be aware this is happening. He throws the hook out forward. That's bad as the Gravitum lands down onto him. It's going to be a trade 1-for-1 you have to feel here as Labrov ticking, getting lower. It's first blood over to BDS though, as Kazi now on the wrong side of a rift. He's being ran down for the double kill to Ice. That is overall a worthwhile play by BDS. Getting the bot lane ahead early. 2 kills into your Aphelios. The champion that scales for eternity is always nice as bot side. More fighting coming out here as Shao forced to flash away. Vito getting aggressive. However, he has given over. Mid lane pressure. Nuke just going to take the reset though as the wave is going to bounce back slightly. No, it's just going to reset. He's actually pushed it out slightly. It's been frozen by Vitality. Kazi back to the mid lane, obviously dying. Gets to run down into mid. As Vito soaks up the XP in the bot lane. As we take a look at this fight again, overall, it's poor play by Hylissang. The hook lands onto a minion, meaning that Ice just gets a free fire and in. Once the purple gun, the Gravitum lands onto Hilly. He's essentially dead. It's a good hook by Labrov, a kind of a sacrificial play to guarantee the double kill for his team. And as a whole, that's so much gold into the back pocket of Ice. He's going to have a field day, especially now with his completed Berserker Greaves. This is starting to get to a scary spot. However, Oh, that hook is perfect. Twisted advance forward, and that is going to be the Xin Zhao locked up in place as the Emperor's Divide finds 3. Nuke sacrifices himself to get a double kill over to his team. What a big play out from the BDS mid laner, as well as Labrov to secure the hook. I was starting to say that BDS sacrificed objectives already in this game, as 3 of the Void Grubs that spawned in the game gone over to Vitality, as well as the first Drake. They're sacrificing quite a bit of objective gold to realistically put pressure onto the map, and this is that pressure amounting into success. Great hook from Labrov. The last inches of the Q lands, and then it's just great play from Nuke to Emperor's Divide under the tower. What I will say is, gold went into Kazi's back pocket there, and in fact he's got 2 kills to himself. That has certainly made this bot lane matchup a little bit more even, as it's only a 400 gold lead, which is basically nothing. Now, Labrov spotted, but this gank from Shell was not. Kazi is rooted down in place, and Ice is on a rampage. He's going to guarantee himself the double kill with the Gravitum lockdown. BDS firing on all cylinders into this bot lane. We were talking about early game unlocking Adam and getting him to roam, but instead the pressure and the focus has been all in that bot lane. BDS unwavering, and in fact this is showing that maybe the bad side of the map for Vitality is this bot lane. Hilly and Kazi, they're obviously in the previous games to the series that they played against SK, were punished quite heavily. Hilly having some funny, silly little deaths as he usually does, but it didn't matter much against SK. Now, against the 2nd seed in this playoffs, BDS are punishing them from minute 1, basically. They haven't even needed to catch them out. It's just been gank after gank from Sheo, and that is unlocking BDS's bot lane into a very scary position on the map. And here's the big thing, Douglas, while he got hooked and killed off early, he hasn't really been able to find much pressure onto this map, and he's now spotted by BDS in the river, so he can't look for a play onto Adam. No dive there. Plus, Adam can obviously go all out and absolutely wreck the health bars of this Xin Zhao. So, the smart play for Vitality, continue to stack these objectives, securing the 4th Void Grub for themselves. They realistically need to get 1 more in order to get the double Void Grub spawned, and that's kind of what they're looking for. Is Labrov stepping a bit too far forward? Is the depth charge going to be thrown out? But Nature's Grass tossed us aside. The hook over the wall pulls Vijo in, but a good R2 gets him away to avoid the Emperor's Divide and his inevitable death as Hilly. I was thinking there, the possibilities of a hook coming over that wall and hitting that Nautilus almost would have secured another kill if it were to have been thrown out. However, BDS not gonna overstay their welcome. Instead, just gonna back away, clear out the waves, secure maybe a few more turret plates. In fact, they're actually gonna give up this plate. Kind of surprising, to say the least, as they've essentially had pressure down in this bot lane for quite some time. I'm amazed they've given up 1 plate. Now, the good thing for Vitality is they secured all 6 Void Grubs, so there's a bit of gold back into their pockets there. If they manage to get some pressure down onto these towers, the double Void Grubs spawning will mean that they're going to do a lot more in terms of sieging. However, they realistically need to get onto the towers, and that's going to be an issue for them, because if you look at this BDS squad, a lot of them have really good wave clear considering the matchups. Obviously, Cassante can just mash Q cleared a wave. As a possible fight going to break out here as Sheo is looking to go aggressive after being hooked. TP is going to be denied, it looks like. Never mind. Unless that was Nuke TPing in. Obviously, Cassante can TP in as well, but that's Drake over to BDS. They're going to stop the stacking of objectives. As Sheo, rooted in place, force the flash over the wall. Vitality starting to get a bit more aggressive. Starting to put pressure down onto the map for themselves. Starting to honestly feel that they have the strong points of the game right now. As the Void Mites going to work on that mid lane tier 1. As VTO secures for himself another plate. And that is kind of impressive to see an Akali getting plates against an Azir. Obviously, Nuke did make a early game roam to the bot side of the map. So he did give up a bit of pressure into that bot lane. BDS unwavering right now, playing safe, and that is kind of something you wouldn't expect for them. I think previous years this BDS squad would have been very, very aggressive and probably would have been punished, but right now playing safe, playing smart, not overstepping, knowing that they have backuppers here. The fact that, sure, Douglas is hovering and looking for a gank, but Nuke had inside track to the play. And would have honestly have been a bit of an issue for this Vitality squad if they went too aggressive. Now, the fact that VTO has already got pressure down into towards this bot lane, already pushed in mid and started to roam down, it certainly means that BDS can't step forward. They're playing it smart, they're playing it safe, and now the fact that VTO has returned to mid, Vitality back up, BDS step forward. Overall, this is just good, smart little macro plays out from these two teams as resets are coming in. And we're going to start to see a few items being picked up, especially in that mid lane. I do believe that is Proto Belt finished off for VTO's Akali. Now, Akalis with Proto Belt tend to have a little bit more impact in terms of the burst. The extra dash of sorts, kind of going to be useful into a team that is very much built for locking down targets if they can. So having extra distance making abilities, always a good thing if you are BDS, well, Vitality in this case. Now, what we are seeing, though, is the mid-game power spikes coming through for BDS alongside these ones for Vitality. And the BDS ones hit slightly harder, hence why Vitality aren't going to be able to secure for themselves. Oh, that hook is sexy, as that is going to be a dead Douglas. The hook from Lebrov finds the pick. However, it will result in a trade of the turrets in the bot lane. That's going to be Karma getting a little bit more pressure onto the map. However, Rift Herald dropped in mid. BDS starting to look for more, as that's Nature's Grasp and the Twisted Advance forward coming out, landing onto Hilly. He's almost going to fall down. In fact, he will die on the bottom side of the fight, though. It's VGO popping off, getting the double kill, but all out comes through from this Cassante. Adam was looking for the fight, but he can't kill off VTO, who plays with that slippery little health bar and gets away with his life. BDS, bit of a yikes situation there. You get the mid lane tier 1, but you give up one kill as, Photon, he's hunting, he's looking for a kill. Adam gonna jump onto this Karma. The hook's not gonna land, instead it's gonna land onto a Void Might. BDS feeling a bit of pressure in this mid game. Obviously, we were starting to say they've hit a bit of a power spike with the Nash's Tooth, and Storm Razors picked up for Nuke and Ice. But the pressure still could be applied by Vitality. Now with these Void Mites spawning, that is 6 of them coming out of one push. That is a lot of might. And it's going to be enough to destroy the bot lane tier 1. Obviously, a nice pickup for them, as they will be needing to assert for themselves a bit more pressure onto the map, as they are unlocking areas of vision that are going to be allowing them to realistically get more objective control. Now, on this patch, the unfortunate thing is we can't see dragon timers, which I'm so sad about, because I like to use the dragon timer. That being said, it's alive right now. BDS wanting to challenge, wanting to fight for it. However, Vitality back away. They see the TP come through and realize they can't contest, because VTO on the top side of the map gonna secure for himself probably another tier 1. He's gonna get all the outer towers from BDS's side of the rift. And the interesting thing here is it's gonna be an equal trade on the bottom side. Nuke gonna secure for himself the tier 1, as well as VTO securing himself the tier 1. But Vitality hunting, great buffer of a hook there from Hilly to avoid the rocket grab, bringing him to his demise. As a whole, BDS looking, they're hungry, they want to fight right now. Looking for these picks, trying to kill this Hylissang, who is known for being caught out. And the big thing though for Hilly in this game is he has a tool to buffer his escapes, which is great for him. It means that he can be slightly more aggressive than what he usually is without being punished. And that is a nice thing, even if he has died 3 times. Now, item wise, we are seeing Trailblazer Blitzcrank. So the big thing about this is you have a team that are built to run down enemies. So the fact that you have a Blitzcrank running this Trailblazer to give the extra speed up as he goes forward is a very nice thing, because Cassante and Maokai, 2 champions wanting to run directly into the enemies, cause havoc in that back line and just realistically destroy VTO and Kazi. However, it's a little bit harder with the fact that they do have summoners up right now. So maybe the speedy boy Blitzcrank can look for a hook. If it lands, it's probably going to spell the demise of one of them carries if they're unable to utilize their sums. So, taking a look at items, one item ahead seems to be Ice. Pretty sure Kazi will be close to his second item, considering the gold difference is quite marginal in that bot lane. Obviously, 900 gold, about 1k essentially, in the favor of Ice. Probably will be, what will Kazi build second? He's got himself his Kraken Slayer. I'm thinking maybe Storm Razors or something ideally crit based like IE. That's a pretty good item. So the big damage boon will be going into the Jinx's back pocket, as Baron has spawned onto the Rift. 20 minutes on that clock. And here's the annoying thing. If you are Vitality, Sheo is a menace. And the reason he's a menace is he has saplings. Those things provide vision and they provide damage. And it's why Maokai has been in the meta, realistically speaking, for so goddamn long. He can lock down areas of the map and just be an absolute pain in the neck, as I'm already realizing and seeing the build the Karma is gone for right now. This is the first time properly looking at it. AP Karma, none of this tank business, Malignant and Horizon focus into the build path. Basically that Mantra Q will do a lot of work if she is able to land them. And that is pretty powerful, as Hilly almost gets hooked. BDS, you have to feel, probably will start to path their way over towards this dragon. Just taking a look at summoners, all of them are up except for the Blitzcrank Flash. does have Hex Flash, so maybe we see Hex Flash play out from Labrov in order to try and lock down somewhat of Vitality, because we're at this stage of the game where it's just wave pushing, as that is a lot of damage from the Mantra Q, as we were starting to say. Is Labrov, he's getting aggressive. He will get the trap out from the Jinx, so she won't be able to drop that down for the next few seconds. And there's a posturing for a fight. The Nature's Grasp is going to be thrown out, and it's going to be Douglas rooted in place. On the top half of the fight, Hilly is being forced away. He's going to fire out the depth charge to allow VGO to go aggressive, but that is a massive shutdown as the Akali's health bar is deleted as she goes forward. It's going to be another kill over to Ice as he kills off Douglas there. It's one jungler in mid for the support of BDS. Vitality, well, they did lose the fight. They are on the map first. They're positioning down towards this objective, but it's a double TP out from BDS. They're looking for the fight as the Azir going aggressive, getting on top of this Jinx, and that is the shutdown of the Sentry, as Ice is as cold as anything as he gets himself his 8th kill, and BDS are heading to the Baron. Needless to say, BDS's strategy of getting this bot lane ahead early is starting to pay off. Ice has so much gold. He is very hard to deal with. And VTO, in that play, kind of felt the brunt of it as he went forward. And when we get a replay, if we get a replay, I'm gonna either replay it myself or talk and hope that the LEC is smart enough to put this replay on. So keep your eyes on VTO here, who TPs into the play himself. No, he just walks up. He dives straight forward onto Labrov, getting him low, cues him down. Then he just dashes forward into his own demise. He just gets bursted out as Red White Gun from the Aphelios does a lot of work. Meanwhile, bot side Hilly caught out once more. The buffered hook won't find your way out of it this time, as another kill goes into Ice's back pocket. He is legendary right now, but as I was saying, Red White Gun Aphelios is not the best time to fight if you are Vitality, and you kind of feel they were slipping away in terms of power. Obviously, the Aphelios, 3 items now. He is going to be untouchable and hard to kill if you are Vitality. You need to burst him out before he does you, because that Collector, ooh, it's primed to secure kills and execute you off for some gold. And now Vitality, what can you get done? Forced to bear the brunt of this Baron as the Nature's Grasp thrown out, looking, hunting his Labrov. In fact, he's going to land the hook onto Douglas as Adon just standing in front of him. We haven't talked about him, this Cassante, all game. Really been quiet, but he still managed to stay deathless, just being a big, beefy frontliner. That's all he needs to do with that build. He's going to be very hard to deal with, especially with the Magic Shield, and that is the big thing about this Cassante. He's been playing into a Karma all game, a full AP Karma, not able to burst through that first item for Cassante, as that Magic Shield just is going to be very impactful. As for this Akali, probably won't be able to burst through the Cassante either. It's realistically down to the Jinx if they want to win the fight if you're Vitality. However, it is a difficult proposition considering how the game state is looking, with Baron still up for another few seconds. BDS looking to push in this top lane. Labrov been perfect with these hooks all game, landing them when he needs to, and he's certainly using the Fog of War here to try and be out of vision and realistically look to get more and more picks. As there you go, there's a hook. Once again, Douglas forced to pop his ultimate as the Nature's Grasp was thrown out alongside it. Moonlight Vigil could have burned through the health bar of Photon. Obviously, not a very tanky Karma. Full AP is quite squishy, so down to about a half HP bar as finally BDS looking, hunting. The hook goes wide there by Labrov. However, BDS, they get the flash out from Hilly. They get the ghost from Kazi, and they continue to press forward. Nautilus hooked up, but won't be rocket grabbed. Instead, he's going to continue to press forward. BDS may have overstayed their welcome, but Vitality, them health bars aren't healthy either. Just going to be resets across the board. And BDS, they're going to be content with that. They're doing quite well. Obviously securing themselves nice amount of gold off them turrets. They got themselves up to the top lane inhibitor. And now with about a minute on this next Drake, you have to feel that that will be game deciding. There's also a minute 30 until Nasher. I think either team really want to secure themselves Soul Point. Hillisang, on one of his crazy pathing missions, going to be spotted out there by the Scryer's Blue. And he could be caught out here as Sheo twisted advances onto Hilly. The hook won't land onto the wall. And that's dead. Nautilus as Nuke gets himself another kill. BDS, they see the Nautilus out of position. They push him and get the kill. Hilly, trademark Hilly, getting caught out as Kazi burns the flash to avoid Labrov. The Nature's Grasp thrown out, not even needed to hit as Ice just steps forward to secure the kill. TP comes through as Vicho locked up in the mid lane as another hook lands. Labrov gets the pick and that's a kill over to Nuke. BDS are on a rampage and they're looking to clean the board with Vitality as the full team wipe comes through. A triple kill for Nuke and the ace, and the game you have to feel off this push. Like it or not, BDS just press the advantage. They don't even need to wait for the Drake. One pick onto Hilly and they're camping the fountain. Oh god, the hook lands. Good night, Kazi. Hilly didn't even spawn before his ADC. And that's game 1 over to BDS. What a way to kick us off tonight. And I'm barely even awake. Anyway, game 2. Will it be much of the same catching out of the bot lane? Or will Vitality fight back to take us to a third? You already know the answer here. It's a clean sweep for BDS. But let's get into draft for game number 2. And I'm going to have a quick drink alongside it. Never mind, let's just skip through. Why have I not set it up? Anyway, Vitality head to blue side. Is this what is needed to give them a win? Bans are coming out. Brand hitting the ban face, that Malignance. Brand not going to be able to be played here as much as I want to see it. Orianna and Blitz removed off the board. Labrov not going to get his hands on that big pick from game 1. Sinfield. That had a lot of impact on how that game was played. So we continue to step forward as Maokai removed, this time by BDS. They realize the threat that that pick has alongside any sort of champion right now in the meta, as the jungle pool is being squeezed from Douglas, and you have to think Vitality may throw the triple ban towards jungle, as Karma. I don't like that ban. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really in the add-on wheelhouse, all things considered. But maybe they're fearful of what it can provide. Now, what I will say is I'm expecting here a Xin Zhao ban from BDS. Douglas has played it too much. Get it out of here. You don't have the same control as the Nature's Grasp. Instead, they're going to ban the Rel. This does mean that Xin Zhao can be first pickable for BDS. This actually makes a bit more sense. Instead, Vitality opt in for the Virus. Something that was banned from Game 1. Alongside the Kalista. So they're both up here. Probably can see Kalista Nautilus coming out from BDS. Kind of expect that. Or Kalista Renata. Something with a bit of aggression to go alongside it. I think as a whole, Varus kind of good. It's been Kazi's best pick all split. So the fact he's got his hands on it is not surprising to say the least here. If it was left open. As for BDS, locking in Xin Zhao, gonna take away Douglas's most played, and they're also gonna opt into maybe a Dom's champion here and now. I mean, okay, that's a Jhin. If you know me, the last time we saw a Jhin, I ragged on it for ages, and that was Heretics versus G2. Jhin didn't work there. Will it work this time for maybe Labrov? But probably Ice here. It's a weird pick to say the least with Aphelios left open. You've got Ashe open, Kalista open. And you're giving over Ashe to Vitality. I understand why you don't go Kalista here, obviously into Varus. Varus is favoured in that matchup. And you are kind of saying, well, giving up Ashe anyway. I think Ashe was always going to come over to Vitality if Kalista went through. So it does make sense why you go Jhin. But Aphelios still would have been my prime pick for BDS, especially after Game 1. Last pickup in this first phase for Vitality, Akali once again for VTO. Will this just mean Azir getting dropped and locked in here for BDS? Nuke getting comfort, or will it be the bot lane support? Nautilus coming through. You got some lockup there already on the BDS side. The three-pronged attack from the Xin Zhao. You've got your curtain call, your deadly flourish out from the Jhin. And then you've got so many lockups from this Nautilus. The dev charge, the dredge line, as well as his passive auto attack. He is going to be locking targets for days, especially on this BDS side of things. What will we see coming through here though for the rest of BDS? You've got your mid laner still left to pick. You've also got your groovy top laner with picks left up and available. As for Vitality, that Akali can technically be flexed to the top side of the map, even the Varus to the mid lane. But realistically speaking, we're looking at top as well as jungle for them. So, bans coming through, we're seeing the Belveth and the Garen removed. Darius is left open and available. Maybe that hits the ban phase, but Poppy going to be removed here by BDS. Don't want to play into the tanks on that top side of the map. Poppy obviously flexible as it can play jungle as well as in the top lane. I kind of like it, to say the least, being removed here by BDS, as you do have a couple of dashes there with that Xin and the Nautilus. Surprisingly, Azir is left up, which leads me to believe that Vitality kind of want Nuke to go for it, because they've heavily targeted a Dom's pool here as the gods are being removed. Darius is available though from the god pool. Instead, the Azir dropped in as the pick. Will it be Vitality? Photon, can he showcase a Darius pick for himself? Maybe not, because Cassante is still up and available. I think Photon would probably pivot towards that more than anything. But that's assumption number one. And yeah, there you go. There's the Cassante. His most played, I think, in the LEC all time. And what is Vitality going to pair that up with? It's Diego. There is a few more conventional ADCs, junglers I would have gone towards before I thought of Viego returning to the league. And there is the Darius slammed in for add-on. Believe it or not, this used to be my main back when I used to play League in the top lane. Alas, I do not anymore play top lane. So, here we go. We're going to have an absolute barn burner of a matchup. Both teams have their drafts locked in. BDS with a lot of lockup and a lot of damage towards the late game. The utility ADC providing the range lockdowns, while the rest of his team just gets the damage down, with the Darius being very, very powerful. So, here we go. Into game number 2. How do we expect these two teams to play it out? Well, simply put, I think we'll start to see BDS play a bit more reserved. They don't need to go aggressive early. Whereas I think Vitality, with how they've drafted, they kind of need to shut down this BDS squad in the early game. As you can see, Vitality starting early with the level 1 play. It's going to be fully spotted out there by the early ward from Ice. They know Vitality is swarming, but look at BDS. The level 1 play versus level 1 play. They're looking, they're hunting the Nautilus hook. Could be hunting VTO. VTO. Not gonna get caught out. Lebrov though. Lebrov is in a awkward position. The wraparound BDS looking to steal away this red buff. It's not going to be spotted out just yet. The play is ready and available to BDS. In fact, they are going to take it away. But look at what's happening. It's a trade of buffs. Douglas steals that one away. And Lebrov and Ice spotted. The hook goes out onto Kazi, rooted in place. The ignite drop down, but that is almost Lebrov down. In fact, he will die here. Kazi, you have to feel. First blood over to Vitality, and it looks like the possibilities of more could have happened, but Ice burns his flesh to stay alive. BDS overstay, you have to feel, as they're absolutely destroyed by the early gameplay. And this is something you have to realize. The melee range matchup, why it always favors the range in the early game. What we saw there was just two ADCs wailing onto this Nautilus. And Hilly just remains untouched, gets the fire in, pops so much damage down as Kazi, he secures himself the kill. It's a good play from Ice to flash to respond to the Viego flash. But yeah, BDS on the back foot early, and I think that is what Vitality needed to get themselves going in this series. And already we're starting to see Douglas get some pressure down onto this map as he's gone for an early roam to this bot lane. Why is my... Sorry, I'm going to pause real quick. I think I'm dropping frames. Never mind. Anyway. Let's go. Taking stock. I'm going to slow down my talking and get to a point of breaking down the map. Douglas hovering down this bot side quite a lot. It looks like he's trying to split the map. Gonna show himself down here as Labrov is isolated on the tower. He will almost fall here. The Nautilus donated over as Kazi. Oh, that was very well done by Vitality to juggle that tower aggro. However, Ice, if he was a couple seconds quicker, could have thrown out a deadly flourish to secure maybe a kill. But BDS, they won't be that lucky. Instead, Nautilus falls for the second time this game. And Ice, that early double kill that he got in game 1, not gonna be coming to fruition here in game 2. That is kind of unfortunate if you are BDS, because that was what realistically won you the game, was a super fed Aphelios. Here with a Jhin, you don't have that same liberty. This pick doesn't necessarily provide the same sort of strength as what other champions would in this game. So, as we continue forward, BDS continuing to be a little bit better. Sorry, I'm just looking at something on my settings. Anyway, as it stands, my frame rate is so bad. Anyway, how is things shaping up here? Anyway, here we go. It's interesting. I'm trying to prove the quality here. It's a little bit better, I think. Never mind, I broke it. That's a little awkward for me. Anyway. There we go. So, how is the game going? Well, already we're starting to see Fletcher coming out from BDS. I took a little bit of a step back there. As Nuke joining up with the rest of the team. Hilly could be locked up here. Level 7 on the Azir. Has got the Emperor's Divide, but will not press the button. And looking at Summoner's, Douglas burnt his flash there. Deadly Flourish lands, but that's actually going to be the W out from this Viego. The Spectral Maul finds its mark, and Douglas is going to go straight towards this Drake. A nice pickup for himself. This BDS need this objective. They're obviously starting to fall behind. We were saying that the early game pressure always will favor this Vitality squad, and so the fact that it's coming through in favor of Vitality, it's certainly showing up well for them. I think what we'll need to see, though, is definitely, I do mean definitely, some more map pushing. And I am sorry, I'm losing my mind right now. Anyway, there we go. There we go. Sorry, I was just fixing something. But yeah, as it stands, BDS are on the back foot by 2k. Objectives early have gone over to Vitality, with the first Drake of the game being secured. Now, I can't really tell you what the soul is because I didn't pay attention to the Drake pit when the first Drake was secured. But what I will say is, Vitality certainly are quite content with how it's going right now. As Varus, obviously with the extra 600 gold compared to his counterpart, is going to be very nice. As topside, Photon going aggressive all out. Going to pull Adam underneath the back base, but this Darius, quite bulky, going to use his ulti, going to get on top, but he's going to be locked up under tower. And Photon secures the outplay in the top lane. The big thing, though, is the assist over to Douglas. That's a lot of gold over to this Vitality topside of the map now. And with the wave pushed out, crashing into that top lane tier 1. Vitality. Where was this early game Vitality in game 1? They certainly needed it. And they're now feeling it. But the game is not over yet. We have to keep reiterating it. BDS can still scale if they slow this snowball down. And there are many ways to do that. And one of the ways is to look for a play into the bot lane. If you put pressure down onto this Varus, keep him subdued, he's not going to be able to do what he needs to do. Now, looking at the rest of the shape of the map, the Hawkshot going to spot the backs out from BDS. They're going to get full push down there. And certainly, Kazi and Hansama going to feel comfortable pushing into this tier 1. Get maybe a couple of turret plates for themselves. In fact, it's going to be Hilly securing the plate for himself. Nice little cheeky bit of gold to get him towards that Umbral Glaive quicker. As on the top half of the map, will we see VTO get a kill? No, he will not, as Adam sees him on the ward as the arrow, the enchanted crystal arrow, flies across our screen. Won't tag up onto Adam, and instead, it's just going to be a wasted ultimate for this early game. Obviously, arrow, the later the game goes into an incredibly low cooldown, but for now, it's still quite a long period of time before Hilly has that one back up for himself. And I think that's going to be the go signal, realistically, for this early game pressure from BDS. They can kind of play with a bit more freedom as that arrow cannot come through, but BDS possibly could feel the pressure of another play as that apprehend and Q heal is insane. Adam, he is still alive and kicking as he gets the first kill on the board for BDS. Nuke TP's in and he's coming for the kills. He gets himself a second as, well, one, as Adam secures himself a second. What is VTO doing? He took the rocket belt to the fight. That was insane. He did a wonder from 2020. That was when it was on G2. And, you know, that is so many memories. That was a week 1 play as bot side cleanse, burnt by ice to avoid the Varus lockup, as well as remove the stun that the enchanted crystal arrow possessed onto him. I need a replay. Give it to me, game. Give it to me, LEC observers. The best observing team there was in league history. Because that looked insane. As a whole, it looked like Adam was dead and gone. But he survived the play. The over-aggression then from Vitality got punished. as Drake is going to be started up here by Vitality. Douglas caught under the pit. He has ultimate if he needs to get out, but he's just going to be slain where he stands. Sheo now has the option to secure the objective for himself, and he looks certainly like he's going to do so. BDS, that snowball we were talking about for Vitality is no more. They've just turned it around, and it started with this play in the top lane. Great apprehending to Q heal from Adam. Just meant he stayed alive to secure Douglas's life, who went overly aggressive. VTO lands E onto Nuke, and he just was waiting, not keeping his eye on the play. It was more focused on the TP. And as he goes in, he's dead. He's not expecting the rest of his team to just have been deleted. So he just falls. Simple as can be. And now Adam, 2 1-on-1, sitting quite healthy with a 400 gold lead over his counterpart. Now, what is kind of surprising in this game that was missing in game 1 was Douglas playing the map as Hilly. Avoids the dredge line coming out from Labrov. And that's the big thing. Douglas was very active, has been very active on the map in this game. He wasn't in game 1. He was certainly kept at bay on that Xin Zhao. But here, with a bit more liberty to play the map with this Viego, the early aggression certainly is frightful. Especially now with a Kraken Slayer built up. Gonna steal away that red buff. But Sheo has his Titanic Hydra fully stacked up. It's an item apiece. Only a slight gold difference in the advantage of the Vitality jungler here in this game. But it's still a nice thing to see. Leads on the Vitality side of Rift. That was unheard of in game 1. Here and now, it's a little bit more interesting because that ability to scale still favors BDS. And I think Vitality are going to start to get a bit more desperate and look for these crazier plays to secure kills. Because right now, VTO playing on the edge, especially now Douglas, the wind becomes lightning, tags Viego, but because he goes invisible, he's not going to be jumped on. And instead, it's just going to be forcing the Vitality jungler away to secure themselves a Rift Herald. However, Vitality looking to contest this. Douglas though, where is he? He's joined up back with his team into the pit. But that's the aggression from the Xin Zhao getting on top of Hilly, and he's going to be bursted out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade though, as the Herald gets secured by Vitality. VTO goes aggressive to secure himself another kill. And BDS forced to retreat back to the safety of their tier 1 in the top lane. Vitality get the objective and get the kills to boot. They're certainly feeling good after this one, as Ice could die. As Vitality playing for the top lane. And he's actually getting jumped on. Photon going aggressive, going all out, bursting through Ice's health bar. Gets the solo bolo, the shield to boot, the all out destroyed. And he stays alive. Vitality get a solo bolo. The Jhin gets shut down. And BDS falter after a bit of good plays coming out from them early. As we watch this fight again take place, it looks good to start with for BDS. They secured a kill onto the Ashe, but the jungler of Vitality secures his counterpart, meaning no smite for Rift Herald, and Vitality get the objective, get themselves a mid lane tier 1 on top of it, and realistically speaking, have wrestled back control of game number 2. Hopefully they're able to maintain this control, because it started to get a little bit scary. And the big issue though is for them, Adam still poses a threat on sides. He's still going to be quite hard to deal with, so Vitality having to clump up with this death ball to kind of neutralize him. Because right now he's sat dealing with Vito, who has got a little bit more gold than him, as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow still goes wide. As the bot side though, Sheo and Vito being ran down by Vito. And that's going to be Vitality getting summoners out from the BDS jungler for relatively nothing of an investment. Just a couple of abilities out from Vito, including his ultimate. But that's fine and dandy. That'll come up quite a bit sooner than the Flash. Vitality stepping forward, looking to secure themselves their second Drake of the game. Third one that spawned, and it looks like BDS are giving this one up. A Dom hovering though. What are BDS doing? They're playing the mid lane. They're trying to secure push. The Deadly Flourish, gonna go wide, but bot side Vito looks to get on top of this Labrov, but that's a Dom catching out the Akali, doing a chunk of damage. Not gonna be too much though. It's Vitality. They skilled themselves the second Drake for themselves, and they're gonna possibly get away. But BDS, they're posturing. They're looking for the play, looking for a fight. But Vitality shouldn't give it to them. Hilly though may have overstepped as the hook lands. He's going to be locked up, and Kazi could be next to follow. That is an amazing death charge to secure the shutdown as Adam gets himself some money. And this is where you say Vitality are throwing. The bot lane once again get caught out. Game 1, it was the story of punishing Kazi and Hylissang. Game 2, one catch out could spell the demise as Photon once again hunting for this Jhin. He goes all out, gets him locked up, and that's going to be a kill secured for the Vitality top laner. Good trade back by Photon. Kind of been a bit of a quiet hero in this game as we watch this play again. Hilly steps way too far forward to clear a ward. He just gets jumped on. And then it's just a death charge, sending Kazi into the air that allows for the slide and glide to bring the Varus into the arms of the Darius. And that is something we have to say is a misplay. The Vitality bot laners. Honestly, Hilly clearing the wards, yeah, that's fine. You did have that territory for securing the Drake, but the rest of your team backed away. And now, sure, you have Umbral Glaive to clear them wards, but you did just cost your ADC's life, who realistically shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's misplay after misplay from this Vitality bot lane. And it's unfortunate to say the least, because they should be firmly in control of this game. Instead, the gold lead has shrunk. And honestly, the fact we're equal in kills really is quite surprising, considering a snowball was formed, but it just hasn't stayed throughout this game. It's kind of been destroyed by this BDS squad, as I'm actually surprised by Nautilus building Locket. Don't know about you, but Locket on supports just don't seem that good anymore, as there's a far better selection of items that could be picked up. The fact we're seeing Locket here just is a little bit more interesting, and I get why, because you're fearful of the burst that can come out from this Vitality squad. The Akali and the Varus combining together to just delete a health bar. It makes sense to have Locket to provide that extra shielding to everyone so they can't burst out a target. At least you guarantee some protection in that regard. So, as we continue forward, I also see Jhin has gone Ghostblade. Can't say I've seen that one before. But he does have Cleanse, so obviously not running Ghost. So that's probably why you see the Ghostblade coming through. It is full lethality Jhin though, which I mean I'm more pertinent for crit Jhin, i.e. Stormrazor, still having a little bit more power on this patch compared to full lethality Jhin. As a Dom being run down by Hilly. Just gonna walk back to safety of his tower, and BDS gonna give up their blue buff. Never mind, the hook lands. Douglas, no, it's Hilly, caught out. Adam on a rampage, but on the top side, Vito gets himself to tier 1 as the Empress of Light gonna come through, and the shutdown. What a flash, what a play as the solo bolo comes through for the Vitality mid laner. This is why you should be scared of Vito on Akali. Game 1, he was kind of kept quiet, unable to, well, he wasn't. He was getting picks left, right, and center, but it didn't amount to much when it came to late game. Here, he gets a solo bolo, gets himself a turret in the top side, gets to continue that push. That is certainly worthwhile if you are Vitality, because you keep that pressure point. You've got a TP up there. And BDS, while they are positioning for this Drake to stop Soul Point, they can't necessarily continue to contest it unless it's a full 5v5. The TP flank gonna come through as Nautilus locked up, jumped on, and bursted out. Kazi secures the kill, but it's gonna be the jungler of Vitality falling. He went too aggressive. Wasn't playing behind his Cassante, and that means this Drake should almost certainly go over to BDS. The curtains are opened as Photon tanks a lot of damage. But Vitality, they're on the wrong side of the rift. They're being corralled into this choke point. The low health bars of Photon and Hilly, making it a more and more juicy fight for BDS. A Dom running forward, hunting as Photon gets jumped on, pulled back and apprehended to his demise. The shutdown goes through to this Azir, but it's Vito getting picked off by this Darius, and that means doom for Vitality as Adam secures the triple kill, and BDS wrestle control once more from Vitality, and Baron should go with it. Vitality, you had everything. You felt the need to make plays, but it hasn't really amounted to much as Douglas hunting for the Baron, looking to get in, but he's jumped on and killed off before the objective drops. That's another kill over to BDS as Labrov being ran down. Photon hunting. Good buffer of the Q there by this Nautilus to get away safely. Let's take a look at this play again. Just keep your eyes on VTO. Simply put, Photon gets way too low, and it kind of means that the Akali has to go in looking for the kills. She secures Sheo, but it's too little too late. As Adam just was popping off, already managed to get 5 stacks as Kazi is just dead. It's essentially Adam stacked up 5 hits onto Photon. Meant that the bleed, the Hemoplague could take down the Akali with no real issue. And as Vito went in, he soon went out with the Emperor's Divide. It just was clean execution from BDS in terms of the team fight. And Vitality, unable to match it, that draft really hasn't got a go-in button. It's unfortunate to say. They've got the burst, they've got the potential, the poke, but they just have no way to get in. And Vitality need to go in if they want to secure these picks, because this Jhin is starting to become a little bit more scary. Closing that gold gap even more. It was at like 1.3 a few minutes ago in favor of Kazi. Now it's only 600, and that's basically a Shroud. It's not much. Shroud in the old patches, I don't know if it's still an item anymore, but it's not much in terms of a lead for the Varus. And full lethality Jhin packs a punch with them autos. that fourth shot will certainly do presumably half the health bar of Kazi at this stage of the game. So BDS need to basically keep the pressure on and not allow any room on the map for Vitality, as what we're seeing right now is Sheo invading, stealing the camps, keeping good steal there by Kazi onto the Gromp. But it's good pressure from BDS to get the waves pushing, get jungle control. They're playing it by the books, and Vitality, what are you hoping for here? Well, death cap for Vito would be massive before any upcoming fight. Never mind, Hilly could be forced to flash. It's that's the enchanted crystal arrow thrown onto Adam. Sheo tanks a little bit of damage as well as that Darius, and Vitality giving up this tier 2 in the bot lane. No Ash Arrow means no engage really for Vitality. What do they have in terms of lockup other than the Varus and the Ash Arrow? There's not really much, unless it's full committal with the Spectral Maw. But even then, it's very, very minimal. And Vitality certainly know it. So that's why they've sent VTO on the split push mission in the top side. Trying to secure the tier 2 up there would be great for them, but it's just not going to be too much. And so, with Vitality securing control around this Drake, this is kind of their detriment as Sheo going to go aggressive. You have to feel diving onto the backline. Kazi going to be forced to run away, and now it's just Photon isolated away from his team. On the bottom side of the fight though, Labrov has caught them out, and Nuke is free firing. It's a double kill over to the Azir, but Vito, he manages to trade one back, but now he's being ran down by Ice, and he's gonna get away. Burns his flash to do so, but BDS, they find the flank and they fight, and they get themselves their soul point Drake. And Vitality, no way to contest. This game is almost certainly over, and it's kind of a formality, as I've just realized Jin's got the slowing item that gives armor pen, which means Photon got slowed enough to allow Nuke to continue the chase to put him quite low. Kind of unfortunate. The BDS mid laner unable to get the pick there, who silently got himself up to 6-1-7. But on the bot side, VTO being hunted by BDS. Sheo has wrapped around. The Shroud popped way too early. I thought BDS were gonna commit there. They certainly looked like they were going to. Instead, they're just gonna play it smart, play it safe. Baron's up in 30 seconds, and Ice is hunting the curtains open. And Kazi gonna avoid it as the Ash Arrow perfectly hits onto the Jhin. Vitality manages to sneak away, get to safety. But where is safe for Vitality? Their outer towers are non-existent on this side of the map, and now BDS get to close in as the Baron worms its way up into its pit. Like it or not, this game gonna be almost certainly decided here as Sheo hunting. Hooking forward is gonna be Labrov. The Azir turret dropped. They're getting control of this mid lane. BDS on the victory march here. They're just ignoring the big purple worm. Instead, just secure for themselves the inhibitor tower. Vitality having to give it up. A great inside track from BDS, as that's going to be the Kimbo. The Q3 from Cassante landing, forcing the ulti out from Sheo. The poke from the Varus starting to stick, but will be healed up as the hook forward. Labrov getting a bit too aggressive. That Hex Flash puts him in a bit of danger. Instead, BDS backing it up. Scuttle was secured by Vitality. They know this is happening. The Hawkshot will also spot this BDS Baron take, but it's dropping way too quick. 3k, 2k, dead. Douglas not able to get there, but TP comes through. Vitality looking to make a final stand, you have to feel, as the Varus ult comes through. Sheo dropping, getting low, but that's a redemption, bringing him back to full health as Ice gets deleted. VGO finds the kill, but it's Adam. He's finding them all. The double kill goes over, and Nuke free firing Kazi hooked up and plundered as Nuke gets the triple, and the BDS mid and top secure the fight for the team. Nuke and Adam, flawless late games once again. You certainly feel this is game over, series done. Vitality go out with a whimper as BDS take game 2 and the best of 3. I'm going to be brutally honest. If you want to know how to beat Vitality, put the bot lane behind. I complained about Jhin in the Flakkid game versus G2 because it wasn't that good. It wasn't able to put pressure on the map. This game, exact same story. Unable to put pressure on the map and do much. Deleted from the Rift by Photon. But the rest of his team stepped up around him. Nuke and Adam did so much work for the team in getting the leads in game 2. Turning around plays. And I think that is very important to say. Game 1, it was the story of Labrov and Sheo locking down the picks to get the carries ahead. Game number 2, it was just turnaround of fights and misplays by Vitality. Overstaying in areas and getting punished. That's the story of that game. And we certainly noticed it as the series went on. And with that, I get to round it out. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. My voice is going, because that was a pretty... I mean, to be fair, I said this was going to be a chill one. I've been shouting for a bit. But hey, thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new and if you want to. I'll see you guys for a video, I think. I've already recorded and it's uploaded. Don't know if it's gone out yet. I'll see you guys then. Peace out.